Hello student, in this video I going to teach you about one organization from the chapter New Center of the Power, and the organization is known as ASEAN. So you all get an idea about the EU, that is European Union, and the BRICS, which I already given you in the previous video. So in this video we have to know one more organization, that is ASEAN, that is Association of Southeast Asian Nation. A for association, S for South, E for East, A for Asian nation. So South associations of Southeast Asian nation. Now if you go through with your world map and look at the world map, you get that the Asia's part, in the part of the Asian continent, the southeast portion, that is where we get Malaysia, Singapore, these are the place which is collaborate with each other and make one organization, that is ASEAN. Now let's start with our topic ASEAN. Before we go through with that, first we have to know about the little bit introduction about the ASEAN. Now as I am already told you about the full form of the ASEAN, or it is also known as in Hindi is ASEAN, that is Association of Southeast Asian Nation. When it was established in 1967 by signing of the Bangkok Declaration. Now up to this we have to know, it's a very small introduction, but we have to know that why this ASEAN will take by all the members of the Southeast Asia and build up one group, that is ASEAN, in 1967. What happened? So we have to know little bit of story or the causes behind the introduction or behind the creation or establishment in 1967 by the Asian countries. Now you all know that our world is divided into three parts, that is the some countries which take part in the First World War, and that is known as First World Wave. Second, some countries, those who are take part in the Second World War, they are known as Second World Wave, and those who are not participated in the first or the second, they are left as a Third World War countries, and that is known as Third World Wave. So we have to talk about from the Second World War. During the time of the Second World War, or you can say just after before the World War II or during the time of the World War II, the Asian countries are dominated and suffered a lot through the Japanese and European colonialism. Not even they are suffering with the domination of the Japan and the Europe, but it also face a problem to build their own nation. It face a problem of economical crisis, it face a problem of the backwardness, and for that reason they are somehow not able to create their own nation. After the World War II, when the Cold War started between the two superpowers, in that timing also the Southeast Asian countries, they have very much felt pressure by the superpower, that is US and USSR, by pressuring them to involved in any of the alliance, and that also creates somehow the conflict into them, and they are not after the Cold War, they are not in that situation to create their own state, because they have to suffer with poverty, they have to suffer with the economical crisis, they have to suffer with the conflict with the other country, and for that reason the Asian and the Third World Unity world countries, they come together, and along with the Baghdad Conference and some other agreement, they try to collaborate with each other, and finally in 1967 they started through the signing of the Bangkok Declaration, they started one group or association, that is called Asian Southeast Asian Nation, and that is the forming area that why the Asian countries, they become a group after suffering a lot. Now we have to know about that who are the countries or founder members of the ASEAN. Now we previously the first five members are there, those who are helping and founded this group, that is ASEAN. The first one is Indonesia, second Malaysia, third Singapore, fourth is Philippines, and fifth was Thailand. So these are the 5: Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, Thailand. These are the 5 members, those who are founded ASEAN. But afterwards, after few times, some more 5 members, those who want also joined this group, and that group is Brunei, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar and Cambodia. So these 10 members are the member of the ASEAN. So this is the introduction about the ASEAN, that when it was established and by which way they are established and who are the founding members and who are the new 5 members. So totally right now ASEAN have its 10 member in its group. Now we have to know that when the ASEAN was created, that time they take 2 objectives. There's a 2 main objectives. One is primary objectives, another is secondary objectives. So what are their primary objectives? ASEAN is not exactly what the European will do. So we have to take see that what are their primary objectives. Their primary objective is nothing but they wanted to target it, they wanted to accelerate their economic growth, they wanted to establish, they wanted to look after about their economical growth, because they have go through with the economical crisis and they are unable to build their nation. For that reason their primary goal was to accelerate, was to improve their economic growth, and along with their economic growth they wanted to create a social progress and the cultural development. So basically they are not thinking about the military one or dominating like just like a Europe. They always targeted towards their economical position to increase their economical growth, and along with the economical growth, with that economical growth they also wanted to grow to in a social progress and in a cultural development. This is their primary goal. Now what was the secondary goal? After getting this primary goal, they wanted also that after developing in the economical growth with the cultural development and the social progress, they wanted to develop their regional peace, because you all know that these organizations, especially the ASEAN, they were not applied the military forces. They wanted to be create their relationship in a peaceful manner. So for that reason their secondary goal was that to promoting their regional peace. Peace means the members, they are collaborate with each other. Stability is based on the rule of law and the principle of the UN Charter. Whatever the rules and regulations was made by the UNO, they wanted to follow that, and along with the path of the following these rules and regulations and the principle, they wanted to create the regional peace. So these are the objectives of the ASEAN, that first they wanted to take accelerating in the economical position, in the economical development along with this social progress and culture, and secondly they wanted to create the peace among its member with the following of the rules and regulation and the principles of the UNO what they made for the countries. Now with these things, the UNO, they started three pillars. What are the 3 pillars we have to know? The ASEAN community are standing upon these 3 pillars, means all the ASEAN groups, they are continue their group, they are come into the front of the world as a powerful group with standing in these 3 pillars. What are the 3 pillars? The first pillar is economic community, second pillar is that security community, and third pillar is socio-cultural community. So these are the 3 pillars which upon which the ASEAN whole group that was standing, and you have to know this one because maybe for 1-2 marks it will become, or for 1 marks it will become, and also it will become as a long question. So you have to know that ASEAN are standing upon the 3 pillars: economic community, security community, and socio-cultural community. Now we have to know about the comparison with the EU. Means you all know that EU is also one of the important organization which you already learned in our previous video, that how EU came in front of the world and it gives a competitive race and competitive power with the other countries also. So similarly there are some differences and there are some similarities of ASEAN with the EU, that's we have to know. So EU, you all know that from the previous videos that EU is basically depending upon its forceful criteria or upon its supranational structures, that is it is also created that EU is stand on the belief in the military power, in the hard power, but it is ASEAN is not exactly what the EU. ASEAN has no desire for the supranational structure and institution because it believe in the economical development rather than any harsh dominated power. Asian countries also adopted one to create this one, to develop it this one. The Asian countries are adopted one way, that is the ASEAN way. And what is the ASEAN way? Along with this kind of way, a form of interaction that is formal, non-conformist and cooperation, this was all created by the ASEAN. That means the ASEAN members, they wanted to meet with their others members and collaborate with the others members along with working with them with a informal way, means there is a no kind of formalities for maintaining their relationship. They don't believe in any kind of conflicts, that is non-conformist, and they wanted to be a group which always be cooperated to each other. So they wanted a group which is doing this kind of things, and that for that reason, for interacting with each other, they take a way that is called ASEAN way. Due to this reason, in 2003, ASEAN moved along with the path of the EU by establishing three-pillar community. You all remember that EU also go through with certain condition that they also take care about their military one, political and diplomatic one, and the economical one. So similarly, ASEAN also, just like a EU, they started going on to their journey in the three pillars, that is which I talked about previously, that is economical community, security community, socio-cultural community in 2003. So these are the comparison with the EU, that ASEAN is working in the path of the EU, but it is not exactly what EU given, that is the EU is believing in the conflict and the military power, but ASEAN are believing in the peaceful manner, in the cooperation manner, in the non-conflict based agreement. So this is the difference between EU, and also there is one similarities that it's also created the three pillars of community to going on its journey. Now we have to know one by one these three pillars and explain that what are included in this period. First we are talking about the socio-cultural community. Now from this word, I hope you understand that they wanted to establish their social progress. Now what they will do in that, during that social progress, when they established in 2003 the pillar that is the social cultural community, they take a target that the Asian target was up to 2010, and till now they wanted to go an outward looking role for the Asian international community, means they wanted to establish a good connection with all over the countries all over the countries and the rest of the countries outside its boundaries or group up to 2020. And as well as ASEAN also wanted to build a policy which encourage negotiation over the conflict in this region, means according to the ASEAN always followed the negotiation agreement rather than the conflict, means it's their target that up to 2020 the ASEAN wanted to collaborate with each and every community in a peaceful manner, and as well as it's also build the negotiation, the agreement on the basis of the their negotiation, on the basis of their talking way, on the basis of their creating a good communication with each and everyone rather than on the basis of the conflict in the region. So these two are the socio-cultural community where it's take a target for up to 2020 vision to collaborate and to take increase in international community, and as well as it also be negotiated, take a negotiated manner for communication rather than the conflict into its region. Next one is security community, that is the second pillar. Now what are the security community? In spite of they give importance, they give focus into their communication way. They don't wanted to created any kind of territorial dispute where they have to use their armies. So basically the EU always try to secure their conflicts. They wanted that there should be no conflict arises along with their territorial disputes, along with their borders problems, so that they have to use their armed confrontation. So for secure their boundaries from the dispute, so that they not use their armed securities or armed confrontations. By 2003, there are various agreements done by the states, but that agreement is followed only up to some basic condition. What are that condition? They have to be peaceful manner, they have to be neutral cooperation, non-interference, and respect for differences and sovereignty rights. Means among the Asian members, they are doing the agreement that no one will be breaking the peace, no one will taking partiality to anyone, everyone is equal, everyone is cooperating with each other, no one will be interfere with any others internal matter. Everyone have to respect their whatever the differences. One country is different from the other country, the differences between the two members they have to respect, and also they have to respect the sovereignty, the freedom of everyone, those who wanted to do that. So these things they have to take care, so that there should be no further disturbance or some kind of issues was created, and to solving that issues they not wanted to using their military one. For that reason they are doing this kind of agreement. And to maintain this agreement, to not to involve in the conflict one, the Asian group, they started in 1994 ARF, that is Asian Regional Forum. They started with this foreign policy, so that everyone are coordinate with each other's policies and security, the foreign policies and the security, so that they are not using the military process or the dominating process. So these are your security community. So first they are not using any kind of armed forces to resolve their disputes, territorial outside territorial disputes. They create the agreement on the basis of the peace, neutrality, cooperation, interference, respect for differences and sovereignty, so that no one will be breaking this kind of things, and everyone will be settled down in a peaceful manner without using the conflict or without using any military power. And for that reason they are using Asian Regional Forum in 1954, which carries the agreement that everyone should be coordinate with their securities and also the foreign policies. So these are the security community. Next we have to know about the last pillar, that is economical community. Now what is the economic community? The object is to create a common maker and the production base within the Asian state and to aid social economic development in this region. That means the Asian tried to create a common market where everyone, they can produce their own product, they can selling their own product, manufacture, purchasing their own, means the selling and purchasing things, that is totally free of cost, so that no extra taxes will be there. And among the members they develop their economical, they helping the others member with the economical development, with the economical things, so that no one will be lag behind the economical crisis, or they have to solve the economical crisis with the help. So for that reason the Asians first objectives upon the policies under the economical community was that to create a common market, and for that reason the Asian state they created the production which helping the others in their social economical development. They also aim to improve their existing areas dispute and settlement mechanism to resolve the economical dispute. You all know that whenever among the members, if there is some kind of problem arises, like any kind of disputes, any kind of conflicts, and if that not settled down, then it will be hampered in their economical position. That means during the time of the war, so many money are investing for purchasing or for giving aid to the military soldiers, and that give a loss in the economical position. And to resolving that thing, the Asian under the economical committee, they wanted that there should not, they wanted to improve the this mechanism to clear to solve the disputes, and they try to settle down the existing disputes so that their economical disputes should not be arises in your country. That means they wanted to take that kind of mechanism which is not created any kind of economical disputes. It also focuses on the free trade area for investment, because you all know that whenever any country they wanted, they have an economical crisis and disputes, and if they have to give pay a more, so in that timing maybe the problem arises in economical positions. For that reason, to solve this thing, they wanted to go to a peaceful manner, and for that reason they tried to create one policy or strategy which is known as free trade investment. Means everyone, without giving any extra taxes, they invested into any other's country, and they can doing the business without any kind of disputes. As well as a whole, the economic of the Asian region is growing up fast as EU, US or Japan. If I'm also EU, you all know that in the previous video that EU somehow is the area where it grown up economical position in a very rapid way, and it is also give a competitive race. It's a give a competitive competition to the US, China and the different countries. But if you consider, if you survey the Asian growth rate, then you can see that the Asian community is very small, and it don't have any kind of huge economical position. But if you survey to their economical graph, then you will find out maybe in the Asian the economical position are very small rather than EU, US, Japan, but its growth within a short period of time, it will be very rapidly increase, just like a EU, or you can say more than EU, US, Japan. So maybe it have a small amount of money, but its increasement, its rapid development will be very high rather than EU, US and Japan. So why these things happen? Only not to disputes among themselves and to negotiate their work in a peaceful manner. So these are the three pillars we are talking about. One is socio-cultural, security and economical one. Now we have to know that what's the relation between India and Asian, because from the further things you all understand that India is not a member of the Asian. Then what was the relationship with the India and Asia? During the time of the Cold Wars in India, Cold Wars timing, Indian foreign policy did not give attention towards the Asian, because India are not following this kind of thing, so they are not very much eager to give attention to the Asian. But after in recent years, if you see in the recent years, India has also tried to make amends, because China and USA they already tried to collaborate with the Asians policy, because that is a very good policy where the economical position that will be rapidly increased with their negotiation manner, with their different kinds of agreements and policies without using the military one. For that reason, the US and China already they are giving include in it. But right now the India also try to rethinking about it and try to involve in this by amending, by modifying their foreign policies. For that reason, India adopted low-cost policy, which is it has signed FTA, that is free trade areas, with two Asian countries, that is Singapore and Thailand, and try to sign FTA with the Asian as a whole. Means India right now they are signing the FTA, that is free trade association, a free trade area, with the two countries, that is Singapore and Thailand. And it also wanted to make a highway towards India to the Thailand, Singapore and Malaysia, because there we are not getting that kind of from the northeast place towards the Malaysia, that they wanted to make a highway so that they will communicate with, their business along with the smoothly nation. And as well as India also tried to negotiate with the others member of the Asian. So this is all about the India and the Asian, and this is the Asian. So you have to know about that Asian, when it was established, what is the full form of the Asians and who are the founding members of the Asians or the members of the Asians, that you have to know. Maybe it will become for 1 or 2 marks. Then you have to know what are the 2 objectives. For 2 marks it will become. Then you have to know the 3 pillars of the ASEAN on which the ASEAN was standing, and maybe it will become for the 6 marks or a long question, or maybe come any one pillar. Maybe the board will ask for the one particular pillar, and you have to explain for the 4 marks also. And last you have to know about the Indians relationship with the ASEAN. So this is the ASEAN group. I hope you will understand about the ASEAN one, and if you and also watch this video properly along with your NCERT book, so that you will be cleared out with that, and also following the map to look that where is the countries of the Southeast Asian, and go through with the NCERT properly, so that you will understand that what are the properly. So next we are talking about the last nation, that is China, and in that next video I will give you about teach you about the China, that is the Republic of China, that is the last nation which is left from this chapter, that is new center of power. Till that please go through with this video and make understand yourself about the ASEAN, because ASEAN, Europe, this is a very important topic in this chapter, and maybe come. And also one more thing which I left to tell you about, that the map of the ASEAN, where you can see that the 10 paddies line, which is showing that indicating that the collaboration of the others members in the ASEAN, which indicates. Till that continue with your NCERT book and video. Thank you.